Welcome back to my channel, guys, and to the follow-up of the ESL One Katowice Pick'em Challenge. I'm going to do a little bit of a roundup of the first day with the group stage, hopefully as fast as possible, and going over my picks and see how we're doing for now. After that, I'm going to go through what I think about the qualifiers. I'm trying to do this as a quick video, as it's pretty late for me and I have to go to bed because I'm going to work tomorrow. I won't get time to do the Pick'em challenge before I go to work, and I have no possibility to do it while at work. So just let's start up and go through it in today's matches, which I haven't been able to watch everything, but I have followed most of it and know what happened. So let's go on for Group A. We had Navi versus Flipside, and that one went pretty much as I predicted. Navi won pretty easy. I think it was like 16-1 or something like that. Fnatic beat Vox, as also predicted that Vox would have problems at the big European teams with their style of play, which worked in the qualification. Fnatic won. Yeah, they won a lot at least. It was never a contest. Fnatic went on to the winners bracket and faced Navi. Won that convincingly and was the first team to go through. In Navi, Vox and Flipside then faced off in the losers bracket. Vox beat Flipside very easily, and as I said in my past video, I thought that the Vox would win on Dust 2, Mirage, Inferno and Cash, I believe, and I had Flipside for Nuke and Overpass, and Cobblestone was open for me. It ended up being Cash, and Vox simply trashed them. It was never a contest in this match either. So Vox went on to face Navi, where I predicted Guardian would be important, and I assumed that Zeus with his strat calling would be spot on to counter Vox T-sides, basically. And at least Guardian went 22 kills and 8 deaths, I think, so he went pretty good. I didn't see the match, so I don't know how Zeus did with the strat calling, so I can't say anything about that. But mostly I was spot on with this group. I picked both of the two teams that went through, in Fnatic and Navi. In Group B, Envious beat Titan in the first match. It was kind of a Titan from the old Very Games times, where they were leading, what was it, 14-11 I believe, and they managed to throw away the entire ending of the match and lost 16-14 against Envious. So Titan are yet again where they don't manage to close down matches, and I think this affected them a lot as they went on to the losers bracket. Penta went on against LGB, and this was a big surprise for me. LGB won big. They won like 16-3 or something on Dust 2. They had like 10 rounds or something. I didn't watch the match, but had like 10 rounds where they won all of them in a row, and it just picked them apart, apparently. And I didn't predict this at all, but as I said, for LGB, Wayne and what's his name again? Let's see, give me a moment. Wayne and Jakeem had to step up for them. Wayne have at least been stepping up the entire tournament. He had amazing kills against enemies in a later match. So in the next upcoming match, I don't know how it went in this match. I haven't watched it. I haven't checked the stats or anything like that. But except for the score, I was very surprised by seeing that Penta, from the form they have been playing in lately, losing that much to LGB on Dust 2. And then we went off to the winners bracket with Team Envious and LGB. And Team Envious they won this match, so they were the first team to go through on Group B. It was just against LGB instead of Penta, as I had predicted. And they were winning pretty convincingly and didn't have much of a problem, except for Wayne. Wayne did have some amazing play in this match. I think he actually had an ace. And he had some amazing frags, but Wayne couldn't keep LGB into it all by himself. I mean, this was on cash. Envious, I think they won the pistol round on T side, which maybe were very deciding for the match. They just went on from there. Titan faced the Penta in the losers bracket. This is the match that I predicted would become the losers bracket final after Titan beating LGB in the losers bracket. I predicted that Penta would win it, and they came through, and they actually won that match against Titan. I don't know too much about it. I might come with another video to go more through it in depth later on. I haven't been able to watch much today because I have had practice and stuff. Now it's too late to go through stuff. It's actually 1:30 AM and I need to get up at 7 AM. So I have like 5 hours of sleep tonight. It's going to be fun. Yeah, so Penta beat Titan, went off to face LGB again, and Penta were pretty brave here, in my opinion. They lost 16-3 earlier on the day on Dust 2, and they didn't beat out the map, neither did LGB, and it actually was this Dust 2 getting picked again. It was a very close first half. I was watching this match. A very close first half with I need to think. LGB were playing T side first, and Penta was starting CT side. Penta won 8-7 first half, if I'm not mistaken. And second half they were more or less just rolling over LGB. They got the entry frags they needed. When LGB won a round, they just took it straight back, so they messed up all their economy, and it was just all German in that second half, which pulled them through. And they managed to get the second team. They didn't do it as I predicted, with winning the first match against LGB, losing to Envious, and then winning against Titan in the losers bracket final, but they still went through. Except for them playing against Envious, the matches went as I predicted, more or less, except for the very first match. They probably woke up with them. It was a wake-up call for them. And Titan, as I said, after the Envious match, losing when they were leading 14-11 and losing 16-14, probably such a big setback for their part, so they didn't manage to actually play Penta very well. They weren't good at all in that match. In Group C, this was my most difficult group for picking the second team going through. I didn't know anything about Keystars except for the a very good Mirage team. So any other map is more or less, I have no idea about them. Counter-Logic Gaming, as I said, would come in with jet lag and would probably get problems. They have pretty late matches, and since they're Group C, they're starting late, and there was a lot of delays today, so all the matches were delayed, and it just got later and later, and the jet lag would more or less kick more and more in for CLG, in my opinion. And I think that showed pretty well today. They started off by beating Hellraiser. Hellraiser was not on at all today, but they should have beaten CLG. They were winning 13-2 on CT side Nuke, but Nuke, anything can happen, right? But they, in the pistol round T side, that's where Hellraisers are so deadly with in the pistol rounds. They normally win all their pistol, or I think they win like 75% or something of the pistol rounds, almost against any team. And they had the bomb plant on A site, 3 versus 2, and they managed to lose the round without killing any of the 2 CT members from Counter-Logic Gaming, and that was the turning point. From there on, Counter-Logic Gaming won 15-0 on CT side. No, 14-1. The Hellraisers actually managed to win 1 match when Counter-Logic Gaming were leading 14-13, I believe, and managed to make it 14-14. But they didn't come through afterwards, so that was that. And Hellraisers were gone, so I missed my pick, and as I said, I wouldn't let you ever say that this was what would happen. I feared that Counter-Logic Gaming would have too much jet lag, so I didn't want to bet on them. I wanted to bet on them. I wanted them to go through because I know they would be a better team in a best of 3 match compared to Hellraisers. But the jet lag would be too damaging, in my opinion, for this day. That's why I did pick Hellraisers, but I didn't expect Keystars to be as good as they were. I knew that Keystars had been there the whole week in Europe, so they were not facing any jet lag problems. And I should have listened to the interview from Havoc. I think it was Havoc on CLG. They said, no, Haste, of course, Haste is his name. He said that Keystars is a side they have been playing a lot against. They know each other and they know how good they are. The problem is that they always have seen Keystars losing a lot against European teams. But Hellraisers, as I also said, is not like most European teams. They are very much playing on the frags and their aim, which won't bring them too far most of the times, because they don't use smokes and other nades too well. But Keystars are very surprising. Against Counter-Logic Gaming, they were leading 13-0 T side on Dust 2, but that wasn't because Keystars were very good. that was because Counter Logic Gaming were awful. They just didn't look awake. It was if they were sleeping. I don't know if it was the jet lag or it was something else, but they were affected by something and they played awful. Keystars against NIP first match. NIP won 13-2 T-side on Inferno, and I think Keystars brought back like 5 rounds. Was it 16-7? I'm not that sure. It was 16-7, 16-9, the end result. But I have a feeling that NIP, after winning 13-2 on T-side Inferno, which is a CT-sided map, already knew that they had won the match, and they were either just relaxing and having fun, or maybe trying out some new stuff, or they didn't want to show off how they want to play a CT-side Inferno, so other teams can't look at them back at that match and see, oh, this is how they play CT side, so then we do this on T side. The same thing happened when they played Counter Logic Gaming in the winners bracket. They won 13-2 on T side Mirage, which also is a CT sided map. They ended up, that was the one, they ended up winning 16-7 on this one. The Counter Logic Gaming got 5 rounds T-side afterwards. And again, I think it was the same thing. NIP winning 13 rounds T-side on a CT-sided map. They are also a CT-sided team. And they probably just relaxed, had fun. They were going through, they know they have won the match, they only need 3 rounds, for God's sake. So, on a CT-sided map, on the CT side. So, NIP look very strong at the moment, but then again they played Keystars, which they have been beating with like 10 points every single match that I have noticed between them. I haven't watched the match, but I've noticed the results when they're playing each other, and it didn't look like they had any problems ever. So even though Keystars looked very strong against CLG and against Hellraisers, I'm not sure how strong they really are. They look really good on Inferno, and I know they're good on Mirage, so it's going to be interesting. Group D, again we had the Virtus Pro versus let me think. Who was the first? They played 3D Max first match. They won that match. I have no idea what the result was. I haven't been able to. That was while I was at practice. All these matches, last matches. They would beat 3D Max. TSM versus Cloud9. Cloud9 won that one. Kinda surprising. Didn't expect that. But, I think Shroud were pretty good. That at least he was against the Virtus Pro afterwards in the winners bracket. He was stepping up his game, and he is the best fragger in the team. But as I said in my prediction, I didn't believe they would be able to go through without Tico. They can't go through with only one fragger like Shroud and not have a second one. They need 2 guys in that team, at least. And currently they don't have that. Shazam were they were kind of disappointing, to be honest. At least against Rotters Pro. So they went on to facing TSM, which beat 3D Max in the losers bracket for the losers bracket final. I was watching this match. That was actually pretty exciting, pretty close. What I didn't like, it was an overpass. What I didn't like was the way TSM played the CT side. They were pushing a little bit too much, in my opinion. And not doing it 2 and 2, they were doing it alone most of the time, so they could get picked off. There was like one of them went long, one of them went into party area, or sometimes they put 2 guys down in the stairs by Squeaky, so that is a good thing to get. As long as they have 2 guys, they can get the follow-up frag. If one of your guys, like let's say Kerrigan, gets taken down and he's alone, then they are 1 less, and T's are coming with 1 more, and they have a big advantage. And then you go instead with Kerrigan and KGB, for instance, together, and Kerrigan gets dropped, and KGB gets the refrag, and they're back on 4 and 4. Then they have both information, and they are still just as many players as the other opponent. The thing is that Cloud9 didn't manage to step up in the second half when playing CT side, and TSM managed to win the match in the end, and that's how I got 7 out of 8 correct. Match or groups and qualifications for this tournament so far. Let's go on to the quarterfinal. I'm gonna try and keep myself less in depth for this. These matches, let's go through the rules first. As we're going to the quarterfinals now, it's no longer best out of 1, it's best out of 3 matches. How they decide the matches is that the best seeded team get to choose who starts the veto. That's going to be they veto 1 map each, then they pick 1 map each, and then there is a random decision from ESL choosing the last map out of the 3 that remains. So going into this, most of the teams will probably of the highest seeded teams. So for instance, Fnatic Penta, Fnatic is higher seeded than Penta. They should make Penta do the veto. First of all, they might veto the map that Fnatic wants to veto. In that case, Fnatic can veto another map. If they don't do that, they just do the veto they want to. They might pick the same map to play that Fnatic wanted to pick, which is just a big advantage for them. But then they can choose the second map and have 2 maps that are really good on, and probably win 2-0, which probably will happen anyway. And you have then the 3rd map, which is going to be picked randomly. How it works in the actual matches is that whatever map Fnatic picks, like let's say Inferno, Penta get to decide which side they want to start on, and vice versa. So when Penta's map, Fnatic get to choose. If the 3rd map is needed to decide the best out of 3, there's a coin cost to decide who gets to choose which side they want to play on. So that's how it will work, knowing that Fnatic is a very good team on most maps. I have no idea how they are on Couple, and they play Nuke very rarely, but on Dust 2, Inferno, Mirage, Cache and Overpass, all these 5 maps should go Fnatic's way against Penta, and it wouldn't surprise me if both Nuke and Cobblestone does it as well. But I see Fnatic ban or vetoing either Cobblestone or Nuke to leave all the other 5 in the pool, and hopefully that way. They probably ban Nuke and hope that Penta don't want Cobblestone, so they veto Cobblestone, or they of course let Penta choose first and they veto Cobblestone or Nuke, and they can veto the other. No matter what, I think Fnatic is going to win that match. Olofmeister was a beast today. He's after 4, I think it was 4 rounds against Navi, he was 13-0 on frags. It was just insane how he stepped up. No one could kill him. He was untouchable. And if he keeps that on, the other Crims and Flusher, Pronax, JW, if all these just keep up how they normally play, we also know that they have a lot in store for this tournament. They have a lot of new stuff coming in. They haven't shown anything. They were winning convincingly in the group stages. They didn't need to show anything. Same thing as NIP. They didn't want to show anything, but they were just winning 30-2 T-side on CT-setted maps. There's no reason to do much about it. So Fnatic, they might pick something out of the sleeves. I think this will be a 2-0 match for Fnatic. Even though Penta beat them a couple of weeks back, I don't think they will be able to in a big tournament like this. And then we have one of the 2 most interesting matches for these quarterfinals. Team Envious versus Navi. Let's take a quick look through the map pool to see what we think about them. Nuke, normally Navi have been a very good Nuke team, but any team can be good on Nuke. It's most CT-sided map there is, and unless they change that, give some changes to Nuke, it will always be like that. Cobblestone again. Envious were playing Cobblestone versus Titan. I wish I watched that match. I'm going to watch it back tomorrow probably after work to see how Envious were playing it. They won 16-14, but I have no idea if they were any good on it, or when they are losing 14-11 against Titan, which they normally should be pretty easy on other maps. I get a feeling that they might not be all on their ace or on the form. Mirage, that's typical Navi. And this will might veto that map. At least they didn't veto Cobblestone with 2 vetoes against Titan. It's like, why wouldn't you veto Cobblestone? Have you been practicing? You almost lost against Titan. Overpass would probably go Envious way. Inferno, Envious. Dust 2, Envious. Not sure about Cache. sure about Cobblestone. I see Cobblestone being vetoed again. I have no idea how Navi is in cash. Envious is kind of, it's a very CT-sided team. Cash is a very CT-sided map, and it's a map that you have to take mid control, and Navi are, they might be able to do so, the way they play, and they use so much time, but it's mid is pretty open on Cash. It's not like Mirage where you can smoke off 3 places and you can take mid. And you can't be contested afterwards. On Cash it's more like you smoke off the CT side of mid and you can go out to mid, but when the smoke clears, it can be, there's still people likely to be in the mid building CT side, and likely to be people on A watching middle, so they need other ways to get in, and I don't see, maybe Starx are playing Squeaky on A, or Edward. I see Envious being Cash as well, so Cash, Mirage, Inferno and Overpass. No, Cash, Overpass, Inferno and probably Dust 2 going Team Envious way, so I see Navi being, they need to gamble on Mirage and Nuke getting into the best out of 3 as the 2 maps, picking Mirage themselves or picking Nuke. So it will be, it's going to be interesting to see. I'm going for Envious, but it's going to be interesting to see if Mirage and Nuke get into the map pool tomorrow, or get into the match as 2 of the maps. If Navi actually can pull through and beat Envious. If not, maybe Cobblestone. Maybe Cobblestone. Navi is a typical team that have been practicing Cobblestone, and with Zeus having tactics on this, with smokes and stuff. So, but that B site is so easy to take on T side. I don't get why people even want to try and go to A, except for mixing it up sometimes so that they see that we're not always going to be. So you can't just put 4 people on B, for instance, and not play A at all, because they're going to take A. But still, it's a CG. Oh, I have no idea how Cobblestone will go. I need to watch some matches on that particular map. I do know that Fnatic played very well on it earlier today, but I think it was Fnatic. Didn't they play Cobblestone against Navi? Navi wasn't very good on that map. If I'm not mistaken, they played Navi on Cobblestone earlier today. So yeah, Team Enemies probably they need Miracle Nuke. That's what Navi need to go through. And I don't see that happening. It's going to be Team Enemies. Virtus Pro versus Keith Stars. What I want from this match, or this best of 3, is Mirage in the pool. Virtus Pro are one of the best teams in Europe on Mirage. Keyed Stars are supposed to be very good on Mirage, and that could be a very interesting map to see between these two teams. So, and actually see it as both teams look on Mirage as the best map they have. So I see Virtus Pro as the higher seeded team are going to make Keyed Stars start the veto. Let's just go through the Keyed Stars veto. Maybe Cash Overpass or Cobblestone. Just for ahead of it, I played very well on Dust 2, or Counter-Logic Game played awful actually. They might ban Nuke or veto Nuke as well. And I see Virtus Pro veto something else, maybe Cobblestone. They're pretty good on most of the other maps, regular maps. And so then you get to Keyed Stars pick, and they probably know that Virtus Pro is excellent on Mirage, but it's also their own best map. So do they pick Mirage, or do they gamble on Virtus Pro maybe picking Mirage, and then they take their second best map, and then let Virtus Pro pick Mirage? That would be pretty smart, don't you think? At least I think so. So it's going to be pretty interesting again, how that folds out. And then you have the random map, but I'm going to stick with Keyed Stars not getting any further. I didn't get that impressed by them. Counter-Logic Game were awful in that match. Didn't have anything to come with, and they lost 13-2 on the CT side map against NIP, and against Keyed Stars on Dust 2. They had some interesting stuff to come with, but the aim was far gone. It was not there, it wasn't existing. They had one surprising round where they placed 4 guys on short, or catwalk, if you want to call it that. They had one in this little cabin, or corner, beside the stairs. They had one on top of the box thing, just on top of the stairs. He was the first guy the thieves would see when they came in, so he was drawing attention, and as soon as he started shooting, the guy from the stairs peeked out and started shooting, but he got picked out, and he should have gotten on flag there. They should be one man up. And then they had the one close around the corner up on top of the stairs. As soon as the guy dropped bottom of the stairs in the corner, he went down and tried to get some kills. I think he got one, and then he died. And then they came up even more tees, and they killed a third guy there. So it didn't work out for them, even though they picked the correct spot for that round to try and do the eco round a good way and get the kills. But the aim wasn't there. They didn't get anything. They played awful. And Tarek actually was like, I think all of them were less than 1 KD, far beyond it. And Tarek was second to bottom or something like that, and he's supposed to be the main rifle guy. So, as I said yesterday, the jet lag, it's Counter-Logic Game morale suffering from that. So Virtus Pro, I'm going to pick them, much because of them playing at home. They played really good today. they beat Cloud9 convincingly. They probably trashed 3D Max, I assume, because 3D Max they are not up on this level at all, as I see it. And Virtus Pro, they never play TSM. That's kind of weird. Anyway, let's go over to NAP versus TSM, and this is when historically Team Dignitas, what was the team for all members except for Carrigan, or Carrigan were Team Dignitas as well in the end, before they became TSM. But it's mostly the same team, except for they have changed out one player, Carrigan. They normally went out quarterfinals at majors, and they are looking to get beyond that and start getting to semifinals and finals. They have a lot of talent in them, but as I saw them today against Cloud9, for instance, in the second match, the losers bracket final, they played pretty awful on CT side, on the CT side map. They did stupid things, stupid pushes alone. It's okay if they only go for the information, but when you peek out and see a guy, you don't peek again, you fall back and give your information on to other people. So it's what should we say? NIP winning Inferno, winning Mirage. They look very good on those two maps. Probably winning Nuke. They are always been a good Nuke team. I'm not so sure about Overpass. They are really good on Dust 2. So they have at least 4 of the maps. Nuke, Dust 2, Inferno and Mirage should go NIP's way. Cash, Overpass and Cobblestone might go TSM. I see Cash and Overpass needed for TSM to win it, but I doubt they will beat NIP. It seems to me that at least Freiburg is on form. Forced Exist was amazing in one of the matches. Forrest is not that on form when it's come to fragging, but he normally goes a little bit out in the tournaments. Getright does the same, but he's also the lurker, so he is not supposed to get as many kills, but he does anyway. So I'm going to go with Navi, NAP. So those are the picks for me in the quarters final. Probably what the most people are going to pick. Fnatic versus Penta, Envious versus Navi. I think this is the one match where there is a biggest chance of an upset. Navi might win. They seem to be really on point at the moment. But from the map pool and the normal gameplay from Envious, they should have an advantage to get 2 maps that they will win compared to Navi getting 2 maps they will win. So it's going to be interesting. And as I said, if it becomes Mirage and Nuke, I have a feeling that Navi will win. If those 2 maps becomes 2 of the 3 maps, I have a feeling that Navi will win. 2-1 because Nuke is not going to be picked by... Neither Nuke or Mirage are going to be picked up by enemies as I see it. They are likely to pick either Inferno or Dust 2. So yeah, that might be the upset. If I miss on any of the matches, I think it would be envious. Virtus Pro will beat Keith Stars. I don't think that will be a big, very big challenge. It would be interesting with Mirage and to see if it actually get picked. But I want to watch that match no matter what if that happens. And then NIP versus TSM. TSM is doing too much stupid stuff. So that's my picks for the quarterfinals. Let's see how it goes. I'm already in bronze with 30 points. I only need 20 points for silver, and I need, I think it's 75 total for gold, so I need 45 points more. If all of these are correct, I would get 8 points for each of them. That's 32 more points. I would be up on 62. So then I only need 13 more points, but that's only from 3 matches. So yeah, I think it's 10 points for the semifinals. So if I get one of the semifinals right, and I think that's like 1 point for betting on the semifinals and then betting on the grand final. I got 1 point for betting on group stage. I did get 2 points for quarterfinals, maybe 3 points for semifinals. So if that's correct, and I have all of these correct and get up to 62 points, I only would need to 1 semifinal to get the picks I want. Pick 'em leaderboard together with Bass on my friends list. I'm on top actually. So first and second, I'm going so most of them. Let's see, Vision, The Hodge, Bob Monk. Oh, these guys are going to hell it. So bad. Poor guys. Duke 5. What? Oh my god. Only 5 points. How? How? Oh, anyway. That's my pick, guys. See you guys in the next video. Bye bye.